Okay everybody, so I wanted to do a quick video and show you the most defensive snake that I currently have. Her name is Nala. She is just over a year old. She's a chainsaw ball python, Mojave, pinstripe, and cinnamon together. She obviously has not been handled very much at all, if any, by people. When we first got her and pulled her out, she was in a ball. She didn't come out of the ball for a few days. And then ever since then, she's been in this really defensive pose every time we've come in here and tried to get her out and everything. And there's been a few times where she's struck. She hasn't actually bitten any of us, but she's definitely struck a few times. And I'm having to kind of work with her because obviously she's not a baby. And she has very little, if any, experience, like I said, with people. So she's going to take a little bit of time to get over her fear of people and not being able to trust people. Right now, you can actually see she's easing up a little bit, but right then when I had the camera up above her, which I still do, she didn't know what it was at first. So she got back in that S position and was very nervous and kind of watching what I was doing. But she's now kind of moving around a little bit, smelling around, doing those tongue flicks, and she's curious of her surroundings. Now, if I were to do any sudden movements right now, she would definitely get back in that S position and get very defensive. She was definitely defensive when I got her out. Normally ball pythons don't have this issue, and even if they do, it's usually going to go away if you work with them. I know some people say that they have ball pythons that are just always going to be defensive and that's their personality. And I'm sure that that happens sometimes. As you can see, she's seeing my camera and she doesn't understand what it is, so she's getting back into that position. But as soon as she knows that it's not a threat, and she knows I'm not going to move my camera closer to her or anything, she'll probably stretch back out and be okay. But as you can see, when they feel like something is hovering over them like that, they can get very, very defensive. And it's not that they're out to get anybody. It's not that they're trying to be mean. They're just scared. And the only thing they know to do is defend themselves. As you can see, she is about to start calming down a little bit and stretching back out, getting out of that S position because she knows that the camera is actually not a threat now. It's very, very easy to understand these animals and to read these animals if you know what to look out for. What I'm trying to focus on right now is allowing her to do her own thing on the floor without me touching her. I've been touching her a little bit back on the mid to rear section of her body because I want to make sure that she knows that I'm not trying to be a threat to her. I'm not trying to touch her right now near her head area or her neck area because I'm trying to allow her some time to feel like she's got some personal space and that I'm not going to be all up in her grill, if you know what I mean. It's very important to get your snake to just be used to you being there. Just me sitting here in the floor with her and allowing her to go where she wants to go. She's actually staying pretty close to me. She's not really trying to slither away from me. She's more so slithering around me and staying in the same general area. Now, as I move, I want you to watch something. If I move and I get close to her, see this? Do you see her neck? She's doing it again. See, she knows that the camera has moved and has followed her and is closer to her. So she's getting back in that S position because this is the only way she knows to protect herself. Now she's going to probably stretch back out if I move away or if I stay really, really still. This is her way of checking out her surroundings and knowing her own boundaries. She does not know what I am. She's going to learn that she can trust me sooner or later, but right now she's just a little bit nervous. It's not a bad thing. You can see she felt me and saw me move. So she's doing it again. But in just a second, I'm going to pause the video and I'm actually going to begin touching her a little bit more and showing you how she reacts to that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come from the back over here, around this, close to her midsection. I want you to watch her. See how she's kind of turning around? She understands I'm touching her. She's not really bothered by it too much, but I'm actually going to put my hand around her. And she's still not reacting in a bad way. That's a good thing. She's coming back this way, but she's not in the S position. She's curious, see? She's coming up to my hand and she's checking out what's going on, but she's not acting like she wants to bite my hand. Now, she could, if I did any sudden movements while I've got my hand on her, she could strike at me if she wanted to, because, again, she's still having to assess the situation, figure out if she can trust me or not, and that may take a while. It doesn't mean that she's never going to trust me. She will. It's just, and she's doing great. This is the second time I've really had her out. See how she's about to stretch back out there? She's going to start exploring again, and she's comfortable now with my hand being on her body. Okay, so now I want you to pay attention to this. See how my hand is up here now and it's underneath her? She's not very comfortable with that. So you can see she's back in the S position. So this is definitely something that has to be worked through. It doesn't mean, again, that your snake is mean at all. It just means that they've probably never been handled. Or, you know, they don't understand where they're at. They might be adjusting to the new home. They don't know you, and they just have to get comfortable. And once they're comfortable, you'll definitely see their personality come out, and they'll, you know, want to explore more and kind of venture out, and they won't really be afraid of you. So as you can see, she's definitely opening up a lot more. I actually was just holding her a few minutes ago, and I had my hand up more near her neck and her head, and she did fantastic. I just couldn't film with one hand and do that at the same time. But this is definitely something that you have to just kind of start doing, even if they're a little baby, you know, and they're kind of being snippy with you when you first get them home. Give them about a week or two to settle down and get used to their surroundings. And, you know, when you're doing those routine temperature checks and misting your tanks and changing water and things like that, spot cleaning, that's a good opportunity to start getting your snake used to your presence and understanding that when you actually enter the cage or the tank with your hands, that you're coming in there for maintenance. You're not going to bother them. You're not going to do anything to harm them. You're just trying to take care of them. And once they get used to that presence, when you work with them like this, then you're able to hold them. And you're able to get them to be very comfortable with you and not feel like they might strike. Now, that just spooked her a little bit. Her face kind of bumped into my arm. Sorry for stuff you might see in here on the carpet and on my pants. I have dogs. But you can very, very easily get them used to you and work with them in a way that gets them to trust you. And I've noticed that since I've had her kind of out like this, she's actually stayed close to me on purpose. She actually just circled me earlier. I didn't get to film the whole thing because, unfortunately, I can't film behind me. But she actually circled me, so that tells me that she's staying close to me because she's comfortable being close to me, and she's not really perceiving me as a threat anymore. She's actually feeling like it's okay to kind of slither around next to me and use me as a guide and kind of stay close to me, almost like, you know, if you were to stay up against a wall or a ledge, if you were scaling a building, it's almost like that. So that's a very, very good sign that when she's out here and I don't even have my hands on her, that she wants to be close to me. She feels comfortable slithering around with me being up against her. Guys, that's been my little video on me working with Nala, and I really hope that that helps you in the event that you have a defensive snake that does not trust you.